Hi guys, welcome to Basement Supercar Build, the channel where we see if an average guy like me can design and build his own mid-engine car. This video will be a highlights video of the work that was finished this week. If you want to see the actual work take place, watch the full-length video for this week. And with that out of the way, let's get started on this week's video. So I worked yesterday about probably 3 or 4 hours on this little tool here. This is a bead roller tool, and the tubing will slide in and butt up against this bar, and you tighten this nut down or this bolt down. It moves these dies in and out, and you spin it around the tube, keep pressing a little deeper and a little deeper until it rolls a bead around the tube. Haven't got this working yet. It's not quite finished. It's close. I've got a longer bolt here I've got to adapt and put on this so I can attach it to the drill and try to spin it around the tube. Still not sure if it's going to work, but I wanted to try to make one and see. Also had this made today. This is just a test fixture for the attachment bracket for the rear calipers, and I'll get to a point where I bolt this on and test fit before I make the real aluminum one. But I want to finish this tool up for the bead roller, but I've got something else I've got to do first. I've got to get these two steering knuckles ready. You can see I cut the mounting attach points here where the caliper did attach. I've cut those brackets off. I've got to do this to both of them. I've got to grind these down smooth and clean them up nice. Take these in with me to work tomorrow and machine down these surfaces until everything's flat to bolt that adapter to. I want to get this done tomorrow, so I'm going to clean these up first tonight if I have any time left, and I'll come back and try to finish this bead roller tool. But if it's not finished tonight, I'll be working on that in the next day or two. But let's get started on these steering knuckles and see how much time we have left tonight. I received the mounting brackets for the rear calipers back today, and the parts look really nice. Got the wooden one laying here also where I test fit to ensure that they fit correctly. But these are really pretty parts. And I guess I'm going to start assembling the rear hubs and spacers and calipers and try to get all that assembly together. I'm probably missing a couple of bolts I'm going to need to fully assemble this, but let's see how far we can get before I need to order some bolts. I want to take a minute to show you guys a couple of things. I showed you this pipe bead rolling tool that I was making the other day. Well, this is what it looks like finished, and although it does work, it didn't work easily. I struggled to get the beads rolled on the tubes, but finally was able to do it. Show you what they look like. You can see these 4 tubes. You can probably see the flare here, the roll bead. It's raised up, it's fairly consistent. I don't know if it's quite high enough, but I believe it is. I think once the tube is inserted past this bead and the hose clamp goes behind it, it snugs down tight. I don't think there's any way it can pull back off over the end of that tube, over the bead, and that's basically what it's for. But that's what those 4 tubes look like. The other end of the tubes I'll have to cut off to the correct length. Once I know the correct length of these tubes, I'll cut them off and then roll a bead on this end of the tubes, but that's going to be a while. Also, show you something else. The rear suspension, I have cleaned all the parts and painted them and mounted them back on the car. Still don't have the correct hardware to bolt everything in place, but I am making a hardware list here, and I'll be ordering hardware either today or tomorrow for all the missing hardware. But get a close up here what this looks like. This aluminum plate here is the one that I made or had made to hold the new calipers in place in the rear. That's what the rear calipers look like. And I don't have the correct bolt here. I've got that, I'll have to order that also. But you can see the plate here that was made and adapted on to hold everything in alignment. That plate provides the correct hole spacing, the correct distance from the center of the axle or hub, and the correct distance in and out to align with the rotor. So everything looks like it's going to align and work correctly. Hopefully there won't be any issues with that. But brakes are coming along. Also trying to sort out these cables for the emergency brake. I believe this car had an actuator and had an electric emergency brake. You push a button and it applies the brake. I don't think it had a hand brake, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm pretty sure either way I'm going to use an actuator. You know, these cables continue on forward here and attached to this single mount. I don't have the rest of this, but I'm assuming there is a bar these two connect to, and then one cable that pulls both of them that goes to the actuator. But I'll have to learn exactly how that functioned and see what I need to purchase to make it work in this car. But I think that's it. Just wanted you guys to see these things, and I'm going to get to work on something this morning. We'll see what it is. A few quick points of interest before we get started tonight. I've made out a hardware list here, and I have ordered the hardware from 2 different suppliers. It should be here in a day or two. It should be most everything we need to fill in some of this missing hardware in different places, various places that I've used either other hardware or no hardware at all. Sway bars. I have a new set of sway bars. They're used. And I had a brand new set ordered for several weeks, and they kept postponing it 2 or 3 different times on the delivery, and I got tired of waiting, and I need sway bars. So I found these on Facebook Marketplace and purchased them from an individual. They came Saturday, and they need to be cleaned up and most likely repainted. I'll have to see how clean they come when I clean them up, but that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to clean these up and get them ready and see if they need painting or not, and possibly paint them. The weather's not great for painting today, but I may, if I have the paint and I think the humidity's low enough, it's been raining most of the day, I may paint these today. If not, I'll just clean them up and we'll paint them tomorrow. Another point of interest is my wife is Chinese, and she translates all my videos to Chinese and posts them to a website called Bilibili, which is basically the equivalent of YouTube in China. So had some feedback from some people in China that on several different things that seem to be pretty knowledgeable about cars. I don't know if they do car design or something, but they've asked some pretty technical questions about different things, about steering ratios, steering turn radiuses, and some different questions that I had to Google the answers to because I wasn't quite sure. I'd never heard the technical terms and meanings before. So they seem to know what they're talking about, and more than one of them, actually I think 3, have pointed out that they don't think that this weldment here for the shock tower is strong enough. And I cannot disagree with them. I've thought about that myself a few times, so I'm going to rethink some way possibly to beef that up. You can see there's a bolt in here, so that plate is bolted very solid to the frame. But maybe they're concerned about the welds breaking, which I have that concern also. I could weld on the inside of the part and the outside of the part, which would make the part stronger, but still not sure that that is strong enough. So if anyone out there has any ideas on this or any suggestions, if you could leave it in the comments, I would much appreciate it. Would hate for something like that to fail. And if they are concerned about the front ones failing, my guess is they are concerned about the rear ones also. Now this piece of angle I have welded on here, I'm not worried about it bending or breaking. It is thick, but it is possible to pull the welds loose. Same as on the front, I have a bolt here to keep that plate solid up against the aluminum frame, keep it trying to twist or torque. But again, the welds could pull loose. So any thoughts on that also, I would appreciate it. I may have to beef up those two areas somehow, but we'll look into that deeper before I just sign it off as being good enough, because I definitely would like it to be strong enough in the future not to give any issues. But anyway, let's get started cleaning up these sway bars and see how far we get tonight.